This video is to inform my classmates that places like SeaWorld should not be open because they keep orcas in an environment that they should not live in. Okay, orcas are highly social animals who live in stable social groups ranging from 2 to 15 individuals. So, starting right off, one of the reasons why orcas shouldn't be living in captivity is because they don't live in family units. And even if they do live in family units, sometimes these families are from different pods. This means that they have a different language, and so they can't even communicate. Sometimes orcas even try hurting themselves, or they do hurt themselves, and one of the reasons is space. Space is a big thing in captivity, so orcas generally are not meant to have such a small confined space because they usually swim 140 miles per day, and to them the conditions that they currently live in captivity in SeaWorld, it's as if human beings are inside of a bathtub and that's where they live. That's the comparison that orcas and humans have to each other in the size of the tanks. It would take an orca more than 4,280 laps in her tank to swim the same amount that she would normally swim in the wild. A very harmful thing that happens to orcas is that they have collapsed dorsal fins. This happens because they don't have any space in the tanks to swim freely, so then they hurt themselves. They're also fed an unnatural diet of thawed dead fish, and SeaWorld claims that those dorsal fin injuries are actually not related to the space. Generally, orcas are even seen as dangerous killing machines. In the wild, despite centuries of sharing the ocean, there has been only a single reliable report of an orca harming a human being. But ever since we have put them in captivity, since 1991, orcas have attacked and killed 3 humans just since that date. So that means that there is a correlation between the um, the aggressiveness of orcas and also the captivity. Overall, orcas are very social creatures and they need their space, they need the correct diet, all of these things. So, the causes for orcas being in captivity is purely based on money and profit. So, essentially, SeaWorld knows that keeping orcas captive is a high profit show. Actually, when orca shows were canceled, the attendance in SeaWorld dropped by over 15%. Despite this resistance that a lot of people have against the captivity of orcas, SeaWorld does not care and they're going to keep trying to make money off of the shows because they have seen that if they don't do that, then they'll essentially go bankrupt. So these are the reasons why the continuation of captivities of orcas has continued and people are not doing anything about it. It's because of companies like SeaWorld that are not looking at the truth and are just focusing on profit. Even though this is the case, there are solutions that are available at a federal, local, and personal level. So, one of the things that should be done is to make orca shows and captivity illegal at a federal level. This means not having any orcas and no orca shows all throughout the United States of America. Locally, Florida has already moved to ban captive orca shows and also breeding. So this means that keeping orcas and breeding them is actually going to be illegal in Florida. Another personal thing that you could do to progress the movement of anti-captivity of orcas is to call your Congress representatives and actually make a personal choice to boycott SeaWorld as a company. In conclusion, there are many serious problems that arise when orcas are in captivity. However, we can take the steps to solve this problem, and places like SeaWorld specifically should be shut down because it's not just the orcas, it's also the dolphins and the seals that are being forced to perform and entertain human beings without actually following the true path of nature. So these animals are not getting the correct space, they're not getting the correct nutrition, they're getting bored, they're getting depressed, and they're becoming antisocial and aggressive. So this is purely a humanistic argument, and essentially, orcas don't belong in captivity and they should be free.